Tim Stone, the man I was visiting, his second man, was his big brother at Wheaton College. And he told me how a lawyer, a Wheaton College grad, educated lawyer, could get sucked into Tim Jones. And the story was this. So he's in Denver. Tim is actually the son of a high oil executive. And Tim calls my buddy and says, I'm going to be your big brother at Wheaton. Let me take you out to an outdoor concert. We can talk about the college. Great. So they go up into Red Rocks. And massive traffic. And my buddy says, I know a back way down. It's this twisting, curving mountain thing. And Tim is driving his father's huge black Cadillac. So as they're going down the mountain, Tim is talking about the poor and the oppressed and how we can never forget those who have less than we do. And my buddy says, better slow down, we're coming into a double hairpin turf. The poor and the oppressed, we owe, our guilt, we have to. We're coming in, they slide over the first the yellow line in the first curve. They're going into the second one. He still doesn't have his foot on the brake because he's talking about the poor and the oppressed. And so my buddy goes under the dashboard. They slam into the guardrail, which keeps them from into this huge tree, which is the only thing that prevented them from going off the cliff. Because you think about the drunken sailor and how terrible they are. They live in their lower chakras only. Well, that guy might get drunk and kill one person. But there are people who have no grounding. They're here up. They have no grounding. And they're the ones who can kill 900 people with Kool-Aid. But you can imagine what I hear. Tim Stone? S-T-O-E-N? Yeah. He was my big brother at Wheaton. But as I was walking around, beyond stunned, asking myself, how do you know? How do you know? Because Jim Jones would always build up, everyone's against us, we have to stay strong, the FBI is coming after us. But Jesus was also saying, this generation of vipers, And then I remembered, that's right, life, not death. When they start doing suicide drills, you're in the wrong place. But it came down to that basic. Oh, that's right. Life. Suicide drills. Get out. So with all of that, when the Berlin Wall came down, so by that time, this will be my last story. Do you have the time?
Yeah, battery's almost dead, so.
Don't worry about it. This doesn't really apply, but it does. So I'm doing video work. I'm working on a documentary about the first ever NASA Life Sciences. And I'm working on it because I've been working for Searle Pharmaceutical, and they want to introduce a new high blood pressure pill. Oh, yawn. And somebody in the agency decides that they should link up with space medicine. So my colleague is doing the uplinks and all this stuff for a teleconference, state countrywide. And I get assigned to go to NASA in Washington and do a 2-hour thing on space medicine, which actually is just like high blood pressure. Okay, can we do it? Well, okay, if we can, is it going to kill somebody? So I call NASA, ask, who do I talk to about high blood pressure? And I get Dr. Drew Gaffney. So I end up going out and spending time with him. And which is to say that my next affair was with a cardiologist astronaut. So when a guy, a very entertaining guy, he treated me wonderfully. told me he was technical director for Andrew Lloyd Webber. I went, yeah. I'm a spy for the government, yeah.
Boring.
Yeah, so, and? I mean, sure. I mean, I told Drew about this guy, and he said, well, yeah. So anyway, with Drew, I met, this is going somewhere, where was it going? I met the people who are doing the life sciences. Oh, the wall. So one thing about NASA Life Sciences, as everything in medicine has gone down to the molecular level, when you go into space, as Drew said, gravity is the only unexamined variable.
Yeah.
Everything changes when you go beyond gravity.
Yeah.
So it was the only branch of medicine that was looking at the body as a whole.
Yeah.
And I meet this woman who has been doing the inner ear. And what they found by sending rats up, and all the little calcium flakes start floating around, and you get space sick like crazy.
Yeah.
Then they would bring them down and sacrifice them and do electron microscopy sets. And I learned in school that the nervous system was, if you touch a hot stove, it goes up the wire to the switchboard,
Right.
and then you take your finger away, the switchboard. So this woman was from Michigan, like an old Victorian lady, and brilliant. And she said, and I could see it because every nerve cell actually has multiple cilia, and they're getting hit by these calcium flakes, and multiple cells are firing multiple times in this completely random pattern. And I think she did casino modeling or something, but she was using a Cray computer,
Okay.
which is about as big as this building at that time.
Right.
And she was playing with it. So she would take the electron microscope slices and look at the rat's ears after they, otoliths, when they came down. And she told me about the neural network, because any one nerve, you remember, has all those dendrites.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And so there can be 100,000 to 100,000th power of possibilities for where that impulse could go.
Yeah.
Therefore, this is the first time I'd ever heard it. The nervous system, the nervous system is processing the information in the neural network. The brain receives partially or already processed information. It does not. That was the same time that the Iron Curtain was coming down, because communism had the Central Planning Committee that told everybody what to do.
Yeah.
And that's not even how the body works.
Yeah.
So the same time I found out about this, communism was collapsing.
It's a wonderful parallel.
And in fact,
It's synchronicity.
oh, yeah. And I never lost any money exploring that possibility of, can I do a documentary with NASA? In Czechoslovakia, so in Berlin, of course, you had the wall. And in Czechoslovakia and other places, there would be this big swath of land
Yeah.
mined, and barbed wire on this side, probably on this side too. And when communism collapsed and they went to take down those barbed wire fences, the wood was completely rotted through. All you had to do was touch them, and the post collapsed, and you just had to roll up the barbed wire. I also can tell you a story about a fascinating little place. So I rented a car in Berlin so that Stefan and I could drive around outside. And we went to a place outside. We went on the eastern side of a place called Steinstücken, piece of stone. And Steinstücken was about a half block long with houses. There were maybe 7 or 9 houses. And it was completely surrounded by, it was Berlin, It was completely surrounded by